EGM Network.
This is an Evergreen Media Network production. And now, it's time to put you on the spot with EGM.
Hello, welcome to On the Spot with EGM. My name is Jesse Kriske, and today we're speaking with the CEO of Hibiscus Children's Center, an organization that has been a last best hope for children in Florida for decades. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Hibiscus Children's Center, Matt Markley. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Good afternoon, Jesse. I'm great. How you doing?
Great. It's great to have you here in the studio,
Thanks
Matt.
for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming today. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Hibiscus Children's Center, please?
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, I'm CEO of Hibiscus Children's Center. I have been there. This is my 8th year now. Mm-hmm. It's a great organization. Honestly, Jesse, being the CEO of this organization has changed my life. Because I think the organization is that good. It's that valuable to the community. And frankly, it's that valuable to the Treasure Coast and all of Florida. I'll get into that more in a minute. But prior to coming to Hibiscus, I managed community mental health centers in Ohio and wanted to move south, wanted to get out of the harsh winters of Ohio. Mm-hmm. And so this job came open and I was fortunate to have applied for it and have been hired. And it has changed my life because of I think the awesome things that the organization does for kids. But let me just briefly tell you what Hibiscus is, because a lot of people still don't know, have not heard of Hibiscus Children's Center.
Yeah, please do.
Again, you said decades, been around for more than 40 years. Hibiscus is a child welfare organization, but we do much more than that, and I'll try to get into more on that later. Mm-hmm. Primarily, though, if a child is removed from his or her home because of abuse or neglect, and the state of Florida cannot find a family or friend to accept that child, take care of that child, they will call Hibiscus. We operate 2 campuses for kids. One campus in Vero Beach for older kids, 12 to 17, almost 18. And then a second campus in Jensen Beach for kids infant to 12. Again, if a kid is removed from their home, they can't find a family or friend to accept that kid, we accept the kid. We will take the kid. We try to take the kid. We can't take every child, but we try to take every child. And we will take children from the Treasure Coast and, frankly, from the entire state of Florida. Now, the state of Florida tries to keep children close to their home. So we don't get a lot of kids from around the state, but we do occasionally get kids from the Palm Beach area, Miami-Dade, someplace like that. That's relatively close to our area. And the average length of stay for a child is at our younger facility, I think is about 4 months. At our older facilities, about 6 months. But we also have kids stay with us for years. Since I have been CEO in 8 years, we have had about 20 kids age out of the child welfare system while they're with Hibiscus, and that means they turned 18, so we can no longer provide care to them. But we do what parents will do. We are their temporary parents, temporary caregivers, I guess. Okay. The judge assigned us. We're not their parents, obviously. You know that. Yeah. But we're guardians ad litem, I guess, is maybe the best thing to say. Okay. For several months or several years for the kids, and I wish you could see the change when the kids come to us. They come traumatized. They come scared. They're angry. They don't know us from Adam. They've never met any of our staff. It takes a few days to get oriented and acclimated, and to build trust with the kids. And that's what we do the first few days, trying to build trust with the kids, showing them that we care about them, we have their best interests at heart. So I've gone on a little bit too long on that question, but I want to set the stage for exactly what we do, because we do more than that. Yeah. But that's our main job, taking care of kids, making sure they're safe when they've been removed by a judge or by the Department of Children and Families. Well,
it's a very important job, and gosh, we really appreciate the work you do.
Well, it wasn't around 40 years ago. It was founded by a lady by the name of LaVon Tilton, who heard a radio, I guess, program about kids being removed from their homes, and there weren't enough foster placements for them. And so she created this organization out of whole cloth. Again, her name is LaVon Tilton. I think she lived in the Stewart area. I was fortunate to meet LaVon, but she started the organization by herself more than 40 years ago, and we still stand today, and we're doing really well financially in every which way.
That's great. That's great. So
not that we can't use donations, but we're doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, okay.
So that's interesting. So it started locally, right? Right here on the Treasure Coast.
It did.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
From the ground up. She built it from the ground up with a lot of other help eventually, but she started on her own.
Oh, that's great. And she deserves the credit too.
Yep.
So, Matt, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Child abuse, terrible thing in our society.
Yeah.
What services does Hibiscus provide to help prevent and address child abuse?
Yeah, well, again, our primary, that's a good question, Jesse. Again, our primary role is to provide care for kids who have already, it's already been adjudicated that they've victims of abuse or neglect. But we do offer two programs, very important programs, I think. One is called Safe Care. That is a curriculum for parents to learn, how to keep their kids, it's probably called Safe Care, keep their kids safe. Goes for everything from food to items in the house that kids may be at risk for. We also have a program called Supporting Families in Crisis. It's operated in St. Lucie County and in Indian River County. What happens there is it's called Supporting Families in Crisis. If families in immediate crisis, they can call us. We will come out. We will send a family advocate out to them. The family advocate will sit at their kitchen table or dinner table. They'll bring all the family together and find out what the problem is, what other problems the family are having, and then they try to attack the problem one by one, help the family however way they can. Mm-hmm. Maybe with counseling, maybe budgeting advice. It may be referring them to organizations they don't know about that could help them, whatever the family needs. And the family advocate will stay with that family for up to 4 months, not stay with them. They meet with them once a week for up to 4 months. Okay. And then, of course, in the interim, provide whatever care and help they can to the family. And when we look back, the last 6 months or a year, 99% of those kids that we have not been involved in the child welfare system. So we have a pretty good track record. I'm not saying Hibiscus could take all the credit for that. The family has to take some credit too, obviously, most of the credit. But I think if we look back 6 months or a year, or sometimes 2 years, most kids have not been involved in the child welfare system. And I think some of the credit goes to that Supporting Families in Crisis program. People don't know this, Jesse, but 40% of families in Vero Beach, not Vero Beach, Indian River County, 40% of families are living at or below the poverty line. Mm. There's a lot of stress on families, and a lot of abuse, a lot of neglect occurs because families don't have enough income to meet all the needs of their family. For whatever reason, it just occurs that way. And so sometimes we will go in and if we can, if a family's short on rent this month or short on their mortgage payment, we will help them. If the family is short on utility payment, we will help them with the utility payment. Now, we don't do that every month for several months. We do it basically once, maybe twice, based on the family need, just to help the family over a hump. And then we help them on budgeting. We sit down and we have a program from Wells Fargo to help families relearn to maybe help budget better. Not that families aren't budgeting good. Families are doing the best they can, but maybe they can learn some ways to help their money grow, stay longer, continue longer.
That's very important. So those are all incredible services offered by Hibiscus Children's Center, Matt.
But primarily, we are not a child prevention organization, is what I wanted to say. Okay. We just have a couple programs, but it's always nice to be on Child Prevention Month so we can talk about those programs. And it gives me an opportunity to talk about the agency as a whole.
Yeah. Well, that's very good. So let's talk about how children come to the village and the center. You say the judge kind of assigns them?
Well, not exactly. The state of Florida, the judge is involved, obviously. Yeah. But the state of Florida, they contract with organizations called community-based care organizations. One that we contract with is known as Communities Connected for Kids. So they will DCF will contract with Communities Connected for Kids, give them a certain amount of money for placements, and then that agency contracts with us. So we have referral agencies all over the state that contact us every month. Again, we get probably over 100 referrals from all around the state every month. Some of the kids we can take, some of the kids we can't take. Sometimes we'll take 10 kids. We'll say we'll accept 10 kids. Maybe only one kid ends up coming because what happens is the state may find a foster placement just before that kid leaves for Hibiscus. If they can find a foster placement, that's where they'd prefer to send the kid, partly because they believe that being in a single family home or a family home is better than being in a congregate care. And I'm not going to argue with that. Mm-hmm. But we do provide a lot of services at Hibiscus that families are going to have a hard time. For example, we have 24-hour child therapists. if a child needs a therapist, they can see one within 24 hours. They see a therapist once a week. If you're with a family, the family has to go out and find a therapist and get them to it. Well, we have a therapist on site. That's just one example. We have an educational liaison who is full-time, goes out to the schools and makes sure kids are enrolled. Some of the kids come to us, Jesse, believe it or not, 2 and 3 grade levels behind their peers. We help them catch up. Many kids have graduated from high school with Hibiscus or gotten their GED. So we do things like that. So that's a part of the program that people don't see. It's unseen, that goes on every day.
That's awesome. That's really great. That's really great. We're speaking with Matt Markley of the Hibiscus Children's Center. Real quick, Matt, do you have a real quick success story to relay to us, maybe of someone who did get their GED?
I probably could single out one, but here's what when we are not permitted, Jesse, because of HIPAA regulations.
Right.
We are not permitted to contact kids once they leave Hibiscus.
Oh.
But a lot of times kids contact us and say, hey, I want you to know I appreciate what you did for me, or hey, can you help me write a resume, or hey, can you help me, I have to interview, can you give me a little bit of advice, things like that. So we try to tease out some information from them that we can use, in promoting Hibiscus services. And so what we find out is, like, I remember one young fellow told me, he lives in Chicago, owns his own business now. He came back a couple of years ago, and he said, when I got to Hibiscus at age 6, me and my 2 siblings, he said, it was the first time food was not used as a weapon against me. He says, I could have food whenever I wanted. I could have as much food as I want. He said, I didn't understand that. He said it was the first time we had ever had a birthday party. I was 6 years old, had never had a birthday party. My sibling has never had a birthday party. And I'm not attacking the parents. Again, the parents have been poor, could be a single family parent. They could have been unemployed. Who knows what their circumstances were? But these are the things that kids tell us, that when they come to Hibiscus, is such a change from what they were used to growing up. Some kids, we've had kids that had never been in school, come to our shelter, our emergency shelter in Jensen Beach at age 8 or 9, have never been in school, believe it or not. Wow. We have to try to get them into school, because that's part of our responsibility by law, is to help get them their educational requirements met. So we do that. And that's why we have a full-time person working on that, because it takes a full-time. That's the hardest job, I think, in the organization. The educational liaison. Yeah. I think he or she has the hardest job. I wouldn't want it, I'll be honest with you. Much harder than my job. But anyway, those are the services that we provide. And I think it's so important. If we save one kid, and we take care of between 40 and 50 kids every single day, we never close. 365 days a year, don't close for hurricanes, holidays, hurricanes, nothing. We are open to accept kids and help kids.
That's great. You're doing great work. HibiscusChildrenCenter.org. That's the website. Do you need donations and in-kind donations?
We can always use. We don't really need in-kind donations so much, but if somebody would like to donate, we have to raise about $3 million a year in private funding to keep the organization going. Most of our funding comes from the state. About 50% of our funding comes from the state of Florida, but that leaves us the other 50% that we have to find through grants, fundraising. So we have a really active fundraising apparatus at Hibiscus, but we can always use donations. So if you want to go onto our website, any donation will help. HibiscusChildrenCenter.org. It's very easy to donate if you can. We have $1 million match campaign going on right now. We got $1 million from an anonymous donor, but the family wanted us to find the match for it so we could get $2 million. So we are doing that. If you'd like to donate, you've never donated before, that will help us meet that second $1 million that we're going for. We have about a $9 million budget, 120 employees. So we can use every donation we can get.
Very good. All right. HibiscusChildrenCenter.org. That's the website. Go ahead and hop on there and donate. They'll really appreciate it. Matt Markley, you're doing great work at Hibiscus Children's Center.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for watching and listening on the EGM Network. I'm Jesse Kriske. Until next time, take care.